Arena has been in need of change for many seasons. However, finally within the 17.10 update, there is eventually something new that changed in regards to the point format. But let's first get into some of the reasons why Arena just is not that good. A lot of this comes down to personal preference and what you actually want to see in an Arena game mode. For me, I want to have some form of high quality games where I can practice endgames, and I'm not looking for fully storm surged out, stacked games every single day of the week, but at least somewhat close. Even a 15 to 20 moving would be really good. Instead, what we have right now is essentially an area where players just go to practice their fighting skills and W-key as much as possible. This is really good for getting you better at practicing your fighting, even for those top level players. A lot of them still play a lot of solo, duo and trio arena to practice, and I do think it's a very good way to get better at fighting. However, right now, the biggest problem is that for competitive tournaments, there's almost nowhere good to practice your mid-game in. Trying to get early storm surge, the positions, the theory, realistically, high-level scrims are very difficult for a lot of the average players to get into because they just don't exist, or there's zone rules, therefore meaning a lot of the players will never have practice of this until they actually play these high-level tournaments. Arena seems to be the solution to this. A place that you can go that's ranked, that you can grind to get so many levels up. You can get into Champions Division all the way from Opens. However, realistically, the games are relatively okay up until you get into Champs League, then everyone stops trying, and it just becomes that place where you practice fighting, meaning that players die out, and the games aren't that good. So what exactly were the changes that happened in the 17.10 update, and do they even make a difference? Well, they changed around with the format system a little bit. For solos, duos and trios, they've changed it all a little bit. So let's start off with solos, as solo arena is what's probably a little bit more relatable to everyone. You can see the new point format is where they've actually managed to spread it out a lot more relative and kind of close to the tournaments that we're seeing now, rather than with tournaments that we saw 2 years ago when this point format was already introduced. You can see there's 180 placement points total, spread across from top 50 all the way up to the Victory Royale, with eliminations being worth 20 points each. So if you can do the maths, which I struggled to do earlier, this is 9 eliminations equals a win. Now if we actually compare this to what it used to be, it's pretty much exactly the same. There was still 180 placement points total, the eliminations per win were still 9 because those elimination points were worth 20. However, you can see that the placement is much more spread evenly throughout the point format, rather than just being 4 different thresholds. Now this is cool, but will this make any difference to solo arena? No, not really at all. Moving on to duos, what's the differences here? You can see now the new thresholds, which is relatively similar, however still 9 elims per win, which is very interesting because this actually is a huge change of 50% reduction. It used to be 18 eliminations equaled a Victory Royale in terms of points, which was double solos, which made sense because obviously there's twice as many players on your team rather than solos. However, now it's just been changed to 9 eliminations per win. If you do notice the difference here though, they have changed it from 180 placement points all the way down to 135, so there's actually less placement points available in a single match, however you will gain easier eliminations in this. Now the really interesting thing for me is Trio Arena. If we move over to here, it's again 9 eliminations gives you the same amount of points as a Victory Royale, which is again 135. It used to be 25, nearly 26 eliminations equal to Victory Royale in the old one, and now it's 9, which will again promote more W-keying. But realistically, did this point format before even do anything? Because the games were really bad. Not at all. So what impact do I actually see these changes having? Duo and Trio Arena are actually now more reliant on how many eliminations you get, meaning that you're benefited more for W-keying than you are playing placement. So if anything, this will make these games less stacked. However, players, since they were already W-keying in these, will now be rewarded more for taking these fights with arena points. I think this is Epic trying to tell us that they don't want Arena to be stacked. This is the idea that I'm getting from this, because realistically, these changes, if they wanted to make any change to make Arena high quality games, even reflect tournaments in the slightest, these are not the changes that they would have implemented at all. It's very nice to see placement thresholds very similar to normal tournaments, instead of the old system where there was just 4 thresholds that you gained. However, I don't really see this being a change that impacts the game really at all. Is it still worth playing solo arena to get points? And which mode is actually the fastest out of solo, duo and trios? Well, the fastest way to gain points right now is absolutely trio arena. If you notice, there's 135 points available for placement as a total if you get a Victory Royale, instead of solos which has 180. So Victory Royale in solos is actually worth more points than it is in trios. However, that's only 45 points, which in trios is 3 eliminations. So basically, to get the same amount of points, you need to win the game and get only 3 more eliminations than you would in solos. And if you play as a trio, you're absolutely going to get this. So hands down, the best way to gain arena points quickly right now is playing trio arena with 3 really good players. So I'm interested to see how the arena leaderboards change out. Will this be, rather than Marzo W playing solo arena all day, will he be with 2 more arena grinders and they'll be playing trio arena instead? You can still gain tons of really good placement points in solos, and solo arena is still very valuable for gaining points like this. However, it's kind of just the same as it was before, and I feel like the games will still be of low quality, but if you want to gain the fastest points, trio is the way to go. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. Peace.